What's up, guys? I'm BTC. Welcome back to Overwatch Agents, where we review match replays to catch the cheaters and throwers who try to ruin the game. If you have a replay to share where you think someone was cheating or throwing, you can send it to me along with the info on the screen. Let's get started. First up, I want to point out that the replay system is a little bit broken right now. You can still see player names above the character heads. However, up on the top and in the player selection area, it just uses the hero names. It's a bug. Blizzard knows about it. They're going to be fixing it. But speaking of bugs, that is what we're going to be showing in this first video. So this requires both the Mei and the Torbjorn player, and what it's going to do is it is going to allow the Torbjorn to place the turret inside the map so that it can still deal damage to the enemy team, but it cannot be destroyed. And the way this works is that the Mei player will need to get herself onto some of these breakable fence railings, and this can be really from any map. Rialto has this, Hollywood has this, a whole bunch of maps have this where you have these breakable fences and railings and all that sort of stuff. So the Mei gets up on top of that, and then the Torbjorn needs to go above the Mei. This can be done in a bunch of ways. The easiest is obviously with the ice wall. Then the Mei goes into an ice block, and the Torbjorn will then throw a turret onto the Mei ice block, which then sinks down to where the top of the breakable fence is. But then when the ice block disappears, so does the turret. And what ends up happening is that the turret then gets teleported, and in this case, it is way over here. Now, I want you to notice that it is aiming over in this direction, and it's kind of aiming over there, even though the attacks seem to be going over there. So why is it looking over there? Well, because if it was actually right here, it would have been looking this direction and then looking over here and looking down. And you can see it just took out the Zarya and it just took out the Mercy. So it's still able to deal damage, but it cannot be affected. It just took out the Ana as well, but it can't be destroyed by the other team. Just want to point out, Blizzard is well aware of this. They're trying to fix it, and if you get caught doing this, they will ban you. This match is really easy. We're going to be looking at both of the tanks on the blue team, the D.Va and the Hammond, and they're just going to be throwing. It's really, really obvious. You can see we don't need to spend a whole lot of time on this one, because as soon as the round starts, they just go up on top of the spawn area, on top of this ship, and they just goof around, and that's all they're going to do. And they're just going to keep doing this, and you can skip forward. They're still up on top there, not doing anything. Not doing anything. And again, where is the D.Va? Same thing. Just kind of messing around on top of the ship. Very, very obviously throwing. Need to be banned. In this match, we're going to be looking at a Widow who was using cheats, an extremely obvious wall hack, as well as an aimbot, possibly on a toggle. You can see that this account is very low level, and it was said that the player was cheating, didn't care if this one gets banned because they were trying to boost someone else that's on the team. So what we're going to see mostly from this is a pretty extensive use of a wall hack. So we're going to see that the player is going to line it up on the enemy even before they're visible. And you can see lined up right there, and then there goes the hit. Now, the reason why I think there's a toggle on the aimbot is because there's a whole bunch of misses right here. Just lots of misses. You can see ends up hitting the environment a couple times and just not able to really hit anything. So I think there's a toggle on the aimbot. But look, if you look in the distance, you can see that the enemy Widow has respawned, and he's watching through multiple walls. And what's going to happen is, going to end up taking out the Moira, but still watching, and then goes up and takes out the Widow, and then immediately takes out the Reaper as well. We're going to speed this up a little bit, because the better part is when the Widow respawns, and there it is right there. So now we're going to see that, going to start watching the Widow through the wall. So there's a instant critical on that one. You can see watching the Widow through the wall. Tried to track. You see that? I mean, that's so incredibly obvious right there. That's super, super obvious. So you're going to see tracking up through, but then stops. That Widow was never actually visible. There's no possible way that the player could have known that. He was tracking because he thought that the Widow was going to pop up like they did the first time, but obviously that didn't happen. And now what we're going to see is another player is going to pop out and then get instantly eliminated. I believe it's the Moira. Yep, Moira pops out, gets instantly eliminated. And you can see also tracking. Now, the funny thing is, because this player was tracking the Moira, didn't actually get to take out the Widow. So this isn't actually a very good player. As even the other Widow not using the aimbot. But it's very, very clear that this player is using a wall hack. There's absolutely no question whatsoever. In this match, we're going to be looking at another cheater using an aimbot and wall hacks. But a little helpful hint, if you're going to cheat, don't lock onto the invisible Sombra. It's kind of a giveaway. Let's take a look at this footage here. So you can see that the Sombra is over in that other room, and in just a second about to go invisible right there, invisible, but this McCree somehow still can lock on and track the invisible Sombra. Now let's skip forward a little bit, because there are some other really good examples of complete lock-on. You can see here, perfect tracking on that Winston, where there's no movement whatsoever in the mouse. Like, there's no cursor movement at all. We can skip forward. We can see some other examples. I think this is a pretty good one right here. We're going to see the lock-on to the Mercy. See the lock-on through the building right there. The lock-on on the Zenyatta through the cart. Extremely obvious. Again, with the lock-on. That's just unnatural. Nobody can keep their crosshair that even and that steady. It just doesn't happen. So very obvious that this player is cheating. You can see a couple more examples right there of the Genji, again with the lock-on. That's going to be all of them for today. I also have a brand new video over on my second channel. Now that you're done watching this, go head over there and check that one out. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to be commenter of the video, then leave yours, and while you're at it, ring the bell so you never miss a new video. Also, if you want to get some cool gear, join my Discord server, or follow me on social media, then check out the links down below. And remember, always, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.